Ooh, Megan Fox's fine ass is back. And yes, there are other reasons that I went to see this movie. I mean, you know, there's stuff in it. There's other stuff that happens too. And just fucking start. Till Death is brought to us by director Scott Dale and stars Megan Fox. This movie marks the triumphant return of Megan Fox. While yes, she has been in a few things over the past few years, we haven't really seen a whole lot of Miss Fox since that whole Transformers 3 thing that went down and her not being included there. She's been on TV and a couple of little things here and there, but this is really the first movie of note that we've seen her in since then. And this was probably a good pick. This is one of those crowd-pleasing, easily digestible movies. It's kind of like Gerald's Game mixed with a bit of Panic Room, which is to say it's like Gerald's Game plus Home Invasion, which would have been a welcome thing in a Gerald's Game situation, but seeing as how these home invaders are there to murder her, it's not so welcome in this situation. It's a pretty simple premise. We got a husband and wife that go to a secluded vacation home to try and rekindle their relationship. She wakes up the next morning handcuffed to his body, and then home invaders show up to break into a safe that has a whole bunch of money in it. However, to get that safe, they have to have a fingerprint and a code, which only she and her dead husband knew the code. So now she's running around the house and the surrounding property with a body attached to her while these people are trying to catch her. And that's about it. I mean, yes, of course, you're going to have the obligatory twists and turns that happen closer to the end of the movie, but that, what I said, is more or less the story here. And as I said, it's an easy to get into crowd-pleasing flick. It's fairly entertaining. Now, it's not up to the level of something like Gerald's Game, which this movie is inevitably going to be compared to because of the whole being attached to your loved one thing. And even though these two movies do have that similarity, that's about where the similarities end. This movie's nowhere near as deep as Gerald's Game. It's much more in line with something like The Purge or The Strangers or even Panic Room. That's not to say it's not entertaining, it just is what it is. It doesn't have a whole lot more to say beyond what it gives you at face value. Now, the movie does drag a bit in parts, especially in the middle portion of the film. Much like the relationship between our married couple in the movie, the story does get a bit stale here or there. However, I will say that the movie goes out on a fucking bang. The final third of this film is a really good time. It's exciting and visceral, and while what's going on screen in the last parts of this film may not be the most original ideas ever, they are entertaining. It was definitely the shot in the arm that this movie needed because the middle portion of this film does start to drag considerably. There just isn't a whole lot here beyond the basic premise that I said at the beginning of this video. The movie tries to act as if there's more going on, but there's not. That's really just it. Pacing for the middle portion of this film is not its strong suit. We get some fairly solid performances all around, especially for this type of film. All the characters are fairly shallow and one-dimensional, but they do work for this specific story. I mean, they ain't gonna work for shit else in life, but as far as this specific story, they're fine. Just don't go in here expecting a whole lot of depth. Megan Fox is doing her Megan Fox. She's not bad, but she's just doing what she's done before in the past. I've always kind of enjoyed her as an actress, and no, not just because of her physical assets, but because she kind of seems like she has a sense of humor about things. Like with Jennifer's Body. I really liked Jennifer's Body, even when it first came out and everybody was really trashing the movie. I thought that shit was hilarious, and it seemed like she was fully on board with it. So ever since that movie, I've really appreciated her as an actress more. Now, that's not necessarily the Megan Fox we're totally getting here. She's fine, but that's about all she is. She's just fine, as with everybody else in the movie. However, I really can't blame her for that because the character itself is just kind of fine. So as far as playing just fine characters, I guess she did pretty good. However, even though I did find the movie fairly entertaining, I don't see this being the one that's going to revitalize her career. Hopefully, she's got some other stuff lined up. Guys, overall, Till Death was okay. It had a neat, if not wholly original premise and a really good payoff, but that middle portion really did drag. It's not gonna blow you away, but it's also not gonna bore you to death either. It's just kind of, yeah, I mean, that was fine. And another way of saying that something's okay or just fine is saying that it's worth streaming.
Across the street.
This movie's not gonna light the world on fire or anything, but if you're just looking for something fairly predictable, yet kind of crowd-pleasing and entertaining enough for the night, then check out Till Death and you'll be reasonably entertained. So there it is, guys, my review of Till Death. If you enjoyed and want more content like this, hit that subscribe button and help my little channel grow. If you want to help out the channel, check out my Patreon in the description below and become a jarhead and get some of the awesome benefits that go along with that, like these guys. And maybe join the top tier and become a bad motherfucker like Greg. If you liked what I had to say, give me a like. If not, let me know in the comments below why. And as always, stay sexy, Aspen.
Such a perfect couple.
I'm gonna cut myself free of you if it's the last thing I do.
Now, the movie does give us a reason as to why Megan Fox finds herself in this predicament, and I'm not gonna ruin that, but as a married man, I would like to say it's kind of an open letter to my wife. If I ever put you in a situation whereas you feel that you need to do something like this to me, just leave. I mean, I don't want you to leave, but I also don't want any shit like this to happen. Too much.